Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, Monday morning, Memorial Day. Big respect out there to all our fallen soldiers. Anybody who served in the military, thank you for your service. Let's get into today's topic. I want to talk about casual sex, casual partners, sleeping around. Of course, this message and all my messages are for any gender, guys or girls, but I really think that this is targeted towards men. You know why? Men sleep around more than women, and men have more interest, I should say, to sleep around more. It takes two to tango, but men are more interested in one-night stands. That has been traditional for ages. We've seen this in movies growing up, you know, if you're my age especially, and there would be the classic scenario of the man who wants to sleep around, meets some young pretty woman, bangs her, the next morning he's gone, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and she's left emotional and clingy and wanting a relationship, and he's just like on to the next one. Well, that's just a classic Hollywood player kind of storyline. Maybe some of these types of people exist in real life. I know I certainly was that way. I slept around randomly with just random women for years. Looking back on it, I don't really know why. If somebody would ask me, why were you sleeping with so many different women? Why couldn't you just pick one? I don't really know why. There was a fear of being in a love relationship and being hurt emotionally. So in one way, I would just detach emotionally and look for the intimacy without the emotion, which is incredibly hard to do and torturesome. I swore off of one-night stands, realizing that I couldn't handle it anymore. I realized one day that I can't handle this. Every time I have a one-night stand, and I was having a lot of them, several times a week, I realized it was making me depressed. Afterwards, I would get horribly depressed. Right afterwards, she would leave that day. I would not be happy. I wouldn't be patting myself on the back, feeling like a king. I'd be feeling like a loser, horribly, horribly depressed, sad, felt insecure and weak. And I didn't like that. I didn't understand where that came from. At a certain point, I just said, you know what? I can't handle this shit. I'm done. Maybe other guys can handle this, but I can't. I'll never have another one-night stand again. And that was it. I was just done with having cheap random sex. I personally believe that you should not have sex with someone that you are not in love with. Sex should only be an act of love. Now, I'm not so extreme where I think that you should only make babies. Some guys are like that, and they believe that sex is only for making babies, and if you have sex for pleasure, you're a homosexual who just wants to masturbate. There's guys out there that explain it like this. There's a dude online that I follow, this guy Elliot Hulse, and he's interesting because he has a lot of workout tips and stuff like that, but then he goes into this kind of stuff, and it's rather extreme, almost, you know, sounds like Taliban shit to me. I'm not there. I'm not with you, Elliot, on that. I think you can for sure have sex for pleasure. Have fun, but have fun with one person. You don't need to sleep around. And make that person someone that you love. If you don't love her, if you're in a courtship, you're just starting a new relationship, and you haven't gotten to the point where you say, I love you yet, don't have sex. Sex will ruin it. It makes things happen too fast. You go to a level of intimacy that is meant for lovers when you're not lovers yet. So you have to imitate it. And your intimacy from that point forward, when you've had sex too soon in a relationship, becomes an imitation. It's imitation intimacy. It's fake intimacy. It doesn't really speak to your soul because there's nothing really there. There's no real connection. When you wait and you have sex with somebody that you have fallen in love with as opposed to just in lust. The sex turns into almost like a religious experience. It's a different kind of sex. It's not simulating porn, and that's a lot of what we do when we have one-night stands, have casual sex. We just simulate porn. It's a selfish, narcissistic, self-centered kind of act where we're just looking to get our rocks off. I'm looking to come. That's it. That's the whole experience. And when you do, it's over. And very rarely do you sit and cuddle. When you're in love with somebody, that cuddle time can be just as valuable and amazingly fulfilling as the sex was. I've had one-night stands where we sit and, we bang each other out in the bedroom, and the second we both come, second we're done, toss the clothes on and we're gone. There's no intimacy there. There's no love there. It confuses your system, and it's a source of suffering. One-night stands are a source of suffering. Many women know this. There's been studies on this. It's funny how a lot of guys, especially beta males, they have an idea. You can tell when a man hates women. Lots of men hate women. Even guys that want to fuck them. Guys that have wives. You may have a wife and daughters, and you may hate women. A lot of men hold resentment against women. They have this fantasy that women are sluts, that the women are the promiscuous ones. It's the men in our society. In Western culture, men are the ones who sleep around more. This has been studied, particularly in Europe. It's a little bit difficult to have studies on sexual behavior in America. These studies are done at psychiatry or in psychology departments on college campuses, and they will do studies on human behavioral psychology. But there's rules and ethical rules, and it's hard to get too deep into sexuality in America. Never forget that we were started by Puritans. In Europe, they have done these studies, and what they've discovered is, when asked, there was a study done where a woman asked men, a man asked women, clipboard, take down the notes. They did this for many weeks, asked hundreds and hundreds of people. 3 questions, and the 3 questions were, will you go on a date with me, will you come back to my house, and will you fuck me? Will you sleep with me? So a man would go up to random women, just random women. Can I ask you a question? I'm doing a survey. And they would, ask these 3 questions. And of course, I'm sure there'd be lots of giggles. And I forget the exact statistics because I don't have it in front of me, but it was like 50% of the women agreed to going on a date with just some random guy that came up to them. Very few, 10%, very few, 6%, very, very few agreed to go back to the house. That was the second question. Will you come back to my place? 0%, zero, not one, not even a single one, 0 of all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women asked agreed to go back to the person's house for sex. So if women were such sluts as men like to make them out to be, and you hear this so much these days, that these women are all whores, if they were like you wished or you think they are, like your little Puritan mind thinks they are, then the answers would have been different. Men, on the other hand, men are the sluts. They're the whores out there. I used to be a total man whore. I mean, I admit this. It was horrible behavior. And the men had more obvious answers where it was like 75% of them agreed to go on the date, 80% agreed to go back to the house, and like 100%, not all, but close to it, 90% agreed, fuck yeah, I will bang you out. Is this serious? Can we do this right now? Let's skip over dinner. We can hit that McDonald's drive-through and just go right back to my house right now. They're all about it. Men will and love to fantasize about having sex with random partners, and whether they know the person or not does not matter. So I found this fascinating, that The promiscuity that happens in our society is not instigated by short skirt, loose women tempting you. You know, this isn't some kind of Adam and Eve shit. It's the men. And men, you are turning these women into sluts. You're slut makers. You ever heard that term, slut maker? You might be a slut maker by tricking these women into fucking you casually and then leaving the next day as a notch on your bedpost. I used to be this way. How many sluts have I created? Probably a lot. And it's so funny because then we demonize them. We create them and then point the finger and demonize them, cast the stones upon them. I think it's a good practice to not sleep around. I'm not going to tell people what to do, but I would suggest to stop the one-night stands completely. It's a source of suffering into your life. It's dangerous behavior, and it's creating sluts. I think it's better to have a more wholesome, pure, traditional outlook on courtship and on sex. Sex is with people that you love. Sex is an act of love. It's a giving act of your love. You're giving your love in the most supreme, spiritual, religious, godlike way that you could ever do. And choose that person to be special. Stop sleeping around. Stop putting notches on your bedpost. Stop chicken hawking. I think we need to be more aware of our behavior and be more in control of ourselves. A guy who sleeps around is a weak man. That's a weak man who sleeps around. That's weakness. A man who can control their sexual desire is powerful. That's a king. That's a warrior. It's all food for thought. Thanks for watching.